Hello and welcome back to the Intuitively Led podcast. I'm your host, Julie Chandler, with over 18 years of experience connecting to the universe. And now I allow you to connect to energy and understand the importance of intuition and being intuitively led within your business. So let's jump right in today. Today's episode, I really want to talk to you about the benefits of being intuitive or psychic in your business. Now, first of all, I'm going to address the fact that intuition and psychic abilities or intuitive and psychic abilities are exactly the same. They are one and the same. It's just understanding and interpreting energy. Okay. So if you could be psychic in your business, if you could predict the future in your business, imagine how many benefits that you could get, right? Now, me personally, yes, I do consider myself a psychic intuitive. I am very in tune with energy. I utilize and understand energy to its fullest throughout my business and throughout my life as well. And there are many examples of me using psychic abilities and intuitive gifts or insight or whatever you want to call it. I've used it. I have been there. I have tried and tested it throughout my business myself, and it has led me to the success or what I consider to be success within my business today. Okay. So today, what I want to talk about is I do want to highlight what essentially psychic abilities or what intuitive insight is within your business, how you can actually tap in and develop your intuition as well, understanding and connecting with your clients. So using that to connect with your clients and the benefits that that brings, as well as identifying opportunities and risks within your business and how you can use it for your own personal growth as well. And we will touch on, again, other people's energy, supportive teams, the community that you build, how this can really help you. So these are the things that we're going to talk about today. So let's talk first of all about what psychic abilities are. Okay, so psychic abilities obviously get an absolutely bad rep because everybody thinks that they are some magic gift from, I don't know, God, someone. But they're not. We all have them. Being intuitive or being psychic are exactly the same things. Being intuitive basically means that you can understand energy, that you can translate the language of energy for your benefit, for your highest good, for the benefit of those around you. And it's so important, more than just trusting your gut instinct, but being able to tap into different avenues of the way that energy is communicating with you. So this is exactly what psychic abilities are. So a lot of people within the spiritual industry will have heard of, or just even people in general will have heard of the term clairvoyant. Now, this term comes from what is known as the clairs, and there are supposedly, well, I get told different things all the time, but there are four main ones. There are 6 or 7, maybe even more, but there are different senses. And within the spiritual community, within the psychic community, within the intuitive community, they are always labeled with a clair. So clairvoyant is somebody who can see. Clairaudient is somebody who can hear, etc. Now, I personally don't necessarily resonate. I don't like to say that I'm a clairvoyant, although I do see things. I don't like to say that I'm clairaudient, although I hear things. I am claircognizant because I just know stuff, right? There are different types of feelings, senses, and ways of connecting to energy. So I like to really keep it super simple, and it really helps keep it super simple when it comes to your business. We know that one of my key values in life and my business is simplicity. Keep it simple, right? So when it comes to quote unquote psychic abilities, we all have them. Now we have heightened senses. Same in your normal, natural human senses. Some people have like super eyesight. Some people have like a stronger sense of smell. Me, for example, my sense of smell is horrific. My nose was broken when I was 20, 21. And since then, I can hardly breathe properly out of one side of my nose, which therefore also means I cannot smell out of this side of the nose, as far as I'm aware. My sense of smell is horrific. So I do not expect my sense of smell within the spiritual world to be much stronger. But I have great vision. I have had great vision since I was very young. So I'm not surprised that I do see things when it comes to energy. Now, that doesn't always correlate. So if you have really great hearing, it doesn't mean that you're going to hear things or voices or things like that, although you might. But there are 4 main ones that I really want you to be aware of. And if you guys have taken my intuition quiz, you will know which one is your predominant one. If you haven't taken my quiz, look at the show notes because there is a link to the quiz. It takes you through some simple questions and it tells you which is your most predominant intuitive sense of these 4 key ones. And then it gives you information and insight into how to tap into the other ones as well, so that you can really enhance those abilities. So the 4 ones, and I like to put them into animals because it's just much more fun. It's much more enjoyable. Okay. So we have, if we're doing the clairvoyance, we have a hawk vision. This is about seeing. So whether you are seeing colors behind closed eyes, whether you are seeing repeating numbers, whether you are seeing shadows, whether you're great when you do a visualization, this is all under the same thing. That is your psychic ability. Okay. We have the deer or the stag, which is for me hearing. That energy is very much being attuned to everything that's around us, being able to twitch our ears, see what's going on left, right, and center. Now, within the stag, this is so that they can protect themselves. But this is very much a sense of being aware of all of those energies going on. So this can present itself in hearing a voice within your head that feels different to yours. It can be, some people talk about hearing an ear behind their ear, hearing behind their ear. Some people will have songs repeating in their heads. Some people will just really notice music and be really affected by music. These are all signs that you have that sense and that you can enhance that sense and play with that sense and use that sense to pick up information. Now we have the elephant, which for me is the empath. It is the feeling. So this can actually be that empath energy, which gets a lot of references on TikTok, a lot of references on Instagram, where you're walking into a room and you can feel everyone's energy. So yes, it does mean that you can take on other people's energies, but it also means that you can send energies back out. So other people can take on yours as well. You have the power to adapt that energy. So what's coming in, you can block, and whatever you have, you can send out to the world, which is a great thing to be aware of. It also actually talks about messages coming through in your body. So whether that manifests in physical pain, whether that manifests in sensations. So if you do a meditation and you feel like pins and needles around your head, for example, that's a sign of that kind of energy. These kind of things are there. It's just being aware of them. So while I'm saying these, just like acknowledge if anything is you. It doesn't mean that you're pinholed into that box, because you can actually tap into all of these at some point. And then we have another one, which I call the lion energy. This is very much just about knowing. Lions know when to pounce. They know what's going on around them and they know when to be ready. So if you just get that knowing, so I give this example all of the time and it's a great example, but when you hear your phone ringing and before you look at who is on the screen, you know who it is already. You can just know stuff. You know that someone is going to be in the shop before you go in there. You know that someone's around the corner just before you're turning. All of these things are signs of your intuition at work. It is one that most people have. It's a sense that is probably the most predominant. I always say that this is something that men notice, or well, they don't even notice, but they have. I notice it more in men. They just know stuff. And because it's such an easy one to ignore, they don't realize that it's intuition. And this is something that's very similar for women. Although we may notice and be like, oh, that was my intuition. It's kind of hard to pinpoint and say, oh, it was a psychic thing. I just knew. We don't always do that. As I said, with all of those, these are things that are happening all the time to us, but sometimes they happen in such a fleeting, quick moment that we don't actually realize that it's happening. Okay, so those are things that you can tap into. As I said, if you want to take my intuition quiz, you will be able to really look into this a lot deeper, because all of these are so important. And one of the main things that I will say to you is that if you want to use and lean into your intuition more in business and in your life, you are going to have to accept that you do have an ability, that when you get that sign, symbol, message, feeling, energy, that is real. You're going to be asking for that magic and trusting when it comes. Okay. It's so important. And it is one of the number one issues that I see with clients who come to me and they are not able to really accept or acknowledge that what is happening is an intuitive hit. All of it is an intuitive hit. do not believe that things have to look a certain way, sound a certain way, feel a certain way, because they don't. I spent so long thinking I wasn't psychic because I didn't sit down at a chair to meditate, doing a tarot reading, and I didn't see a person stood beside the person that I was doing a tarot reading for. I thought because I couldn't see them, I wasn't psychic. I thought because I couldn't actually see the face of an angel or guide who came with somebody when I was doing a Reiki session, that really I wasn't very psychic. And it's just absolute bollocks, if I'm completely honest with you, because all you need to be able to do is pick up the energy that you are receiving and try to translate that, because it doesn't look the same for everybody. So how they've made it look in Ghost, as an example, for the film, when Whoopi Goldberg can see, I've forgotten his name, Patrick Swayze, there we go. When she can see Patrick Swayze, you know, it doesn't look like that for all of us. Okay. That's probably a very, very rare 1 in a million experience. But what it could look like is getting goosebumps when an energy is near you, or when there is a message for you, when there is something. So like when you just know that you're on the right path with something, you might get butterflies. It's acknowledging those things. Those are psychic abilities. Those are intuitive hits. The difference between you and somebody who works as a psychic, the only difference is that they have worked with and experienced multiple sensations enough that they then trust them to be able to relay that as a message. Okay. So ways that you can develop those intuitive hits. Step 1, acknowledging that you can do that, and that those things that you are receiving, feeling, sensing, seeing, hearing, all of them. So if you get a song that's stuck in your head one day, acknowledging that. If you can't think where that's come from, right? Because sometimes we get a song stuck in our head and it's linked because we've just watched 3,000 reels on TikTok and it was actually 90% of those reels. But if it's a song that pops in and it means something to you, but you don't know why it's playing in your head, you don't know where it's come from, acknowledging that, questioning it. Okay. That's the other thing. Acknowledgement and questioning. Questioning what it means to you personally. Everything I do comes back to you personally. To be intuitively led, you need to realize that it needs to come from you. So checking in with yourself first. What does this song mean to me? I'm going to run with this example. What does this song mean to me? What is this song saying? What are those specific lyrics that are stuck in my head? And what does that mean to X situation in my life? What does that mean? So we're acknowledging it and we're questioning it. And now we're questioning it in a beautiful way. We're not going, is this real? Isn't this real? We're going, how does this apply to me? What is this telling me? How can I benefit from this? And then acknowledging anything that comes to you, any feelings, any sensations, any aha moments that come through when you're doing that questioning, because your intuition will tell you in your body with these sensations, right? It will tell you what you need to know with regards to those questions. You will get an understanding. It's only when we start to doubt ourselves and second guess and not listen to that initial first reaction to something, that's when you get yourself more into trouble. So the reason that it's so important to hone these intuitive gifts, these psychic abilities in your business, is because the universe is guiding you the entire time. The entire time. So I can guarantee that 99.9% of the people who listen to this podcast are aware of energy, understand energy, and are probably on a life path mission of helping someone in some way, shape, or form. Now, that can be on a small scale or a massive scale, but you're here to help somebody. And if you're here to help somebody, the universe wants to help you help that person. So trust me when I'm telling you that the universe is guiding you at all times. It's not just going to be a massive flashing light that says, no, don't go down this road, or, hey, this way, left, 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 right, right, right. It's not going to do that. I mean, it might do, but it's very few and far between. What it is going to do is use energy in subtle ways, because it takes less energy to do those subtle things, to trigger those subtle moments for you. Now, one of the things that you can do when you have that trust in your ability, so when you have had multiple experiences and you have questioned it and you've followed it, because that's the other thing, right? So it's acknowledging it, questioning it, and then taking action on it. Those are the 3 steps that I will tell everybody to do with their intuition. So acknowledge this is something that I think might be my intuition. What does it mean? What is it telling me? What should I do now? And then take that action. Once you start taking action, then you can see more insights as to whether that is right or wrong. And then when you see that it's right or wrong, you're able to adjust next time. So when that happens next time, you can say, oh, okay, that meant X, Y, and Z last time. Does that mean the same? Yes, no, let's go. Okay. So when you've got that in your business, you are able to actually use this energy to connect with clients. So when you're communicating with your clients, when someone's on your feed, on your timeline, in your community, when they are a client that you are healing, working with, sending energy to, whatever it is that you do, you will start to be able to pick up their energy back. So you will feel sensations, you will hear words, concepts, etc., that actually resonate with them. And the way that you can actually use this is it helps you to connect with them on a deeper level, right? So if someone comes to you and they can tell you that you've been feeling a certain way, you've been feeling let down or disjointed in whatever it is, if they can say that to you and that's how you're feeling, they're going to trust you a whole lot more. And you're going to build this rapport up with your clients. And that's why it's so important. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you that you need to tap into them psychically and understand everything that's going on in their personal lives. We're not talking about that. That's not ethical. But what is fine is being able to understand and let their energy like speak through your senses so that you can help them further. Okay. Now there is that difference there. So do keep that in mind. I'm not telling you to be ethically like just wrong and tapping into every single thing, but being able to lean into what's going on, even if it's not just your client directly, but what's going on collectively. If you can lean into the energies of people around you, and the more people that you're talking to, you're hearing a repeating pattern on energy, start using that for your clients, because your clients are probably feeling that exact same way too, or maybe their clients are. So it's kind of giving them this information. It helps you understand your clients on a deeper level when you start looking at energy. Because when we just talk about personalities, if you're just like, oh, my client is this personality type, they do X, Y, and Z. When you actually start to look at energy, you have a deeper understanding of that personality. You start to really see why they might have certain blocks in their lives, why they might have imposter syndrome in certain areas of their lives. And this is why that's also important, especially for a lot of the people who listen to me, who communicate with me, who work with me. You guys are helping people. So it's more than just guiding them in a direction that you want to go, but actually being able to fully understand and connect with and empathize with what's going on in their lives. Now, another one, and this is one of my favorite things to use my intuition for, my psychic abilities for within my business, looking for opportunities and looking for risks or red flags. Now, I've talked about this before, but there have been clients in the past that I have had calls with where I have sensed something is not right and I have said no to them and turned down that work. Now, it might be guaranteed hours, it might be guaranteed income, but if something doesn't feel right for me, it's a no. And it's as simple as that these days. I don't waste time thinking, overthinking, analyzing. I'm literally like, it's a no for some reason. I don't know what that is. It's a no. I've even had it where I've been on discovery calls with people before, and halfway through the call, I'm like, this is a no. So I don't really pitch. I don't really like offer what I'm doing. So it might come across to them like I'm not interested or I'm disjointed or, this kind of thing. And I need to get better at that. That is something that I'm aware of. I need to sort of say, this isn't for me earlier on, but I'm a pleaser, right? So again, a lot of us who are healers, we naturally just want to help and heal and guide and instruct and all of this kind of thing. But for me, it's very, very important to acknowledge those feelings and not put yourself in situations where you're like, right, this might go down a darker path. And by darker path, I don't mean some like big, deep, dark depression, but I just mean like, it might be more difficult. If I take on that client or I work with that client, I might take on their baggage. I might take on their crap. I might feel pressure that I don't want to feel. We're in these businesses or we're working as entrepreneurs because we want to be able to work with the right type of people. We want to help the right type of people. And your intuition and your psychic abilities are what tell you what actually guides you to the right people that work for you, because not all energies are going to work together, and that's okay. Not all personalities work together. That's okay. But the ability to be able to spot when there is a red flag or when something isn't going to work is so important. Okay. And it's the same with opportunities. So opportunities can be there and they can be really, really obvious. So if you have an idea for an offer that has been coming back, that might be an intuitive hit. That might be the thing that you need to do, but it might need some work and it might need some reframing. You might need some clarity around what that looks like in practice, who you're helping, all of this kind of stuff. But you need to be able to listen to and tap into your intuition to really hone in on that and actually get the success that you want from those opportunities, because the opportunities are endless. They are abundant. We know that. We know that there is money out there to be had, to be made, that it's not a shortage out there in the market right now at all. So being able to understand where your opportunities lie, because what is for you, it's for you, right? Now, I'm not a person that is like, what is for me won't miss me, because some stuff will miss me, even if it's for me, if I don't get off my butt and like actually get stuff done. So if you're not taking the action, if you're not taking aligned action towards something, then yes, you will miss opportunities and they will go to somebody else. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that like, stuff doesn't come to you even if you're not expecting it, because that happens too. But really and truly, when we're looking at opportunities in our business, we do need to acknowledge them and actually try and go for them as well. So if you do have these bright ideas, there's all these stories. I give this story. I thought of Deliveroo before Deliveroo was a thing, but just not to the way that it is. So the reason I had thought of Deliveroo was when I used to get absolutely smashed in my early 20s, and I would be on not only an alcohol hangover, but also like a come down from any party-induced drugs that I had taken that weekend, because I was a hell of a partier. And I remember being in my friend's house in the middle of Clapham Common and feeling like absolute death, knowing that I needed a Lucozade or a Coke to like get those sugar levels back up in the body. I knew that I needed a McDonald's, because that's what we always need, or a fry up, but we didn't have anything in the house. And the idea of going to the local Sainsbury's, even though it was only 100 meters away, was like just death. And I was like, wow, wouldn't it just be so great if you could just order stuff to come to you from the local shops? Like that would just be brilliant. And now Deliveroo is a worldwide company, right? So that idea came to me. And the same way that I'm sure you have had plenty of ideas. They say this all the time. No idea is an individual idea, not one. And there is a spiritual concept around. So I think it's called like big energy, big something. There's a book that is written, and she talks about, I'm butchering this because I don't remember the book name, like Big Magic, that's what it's called. But she talks about the concept that as an author, there had been ideas for stories that had come to her, and she feels that they come to her energetically. And I totally agree with this, because I think that there are certain things that I say, be you, as an example, that energy framework was something that energetically came to me. And it is something that, because I've embraced it, it will grow with me. But there are things that I have let go. So I had that idea. I did look at, like, I had that idea for delivery, but it, for delivering things to you, like on demand, because back then it was literally just things like, I mean, I think Just Eat existed, but that was like more the evenings, and that was just local restaurants. And it was, deliveries of like Domino's or Pizza Hut was a thing, but it wasn't anything else. It wasn't anything bigger. It wasn't like, I want someone to go to the shop for me, which is basically what I needed at that time. I was like, I need someone to go get paracetamol, Lucozade, and a burger all in one. So the only difference now with like what I'd thought of and what Deliveroo is that I'd wanted someone to go and do multiple stops for me, because I wanted them to go to multiple places. Whereas Deliveroo, it's one place. But trust me, I've been there where I have ordered multiple things from different places on Deliveroo. You just get multiple deliveries. That's fine. But that idea came to me. It wasn't supposed to be for me. So it's been passed on to somebody else energetically. So these are things that if you don't take the opportunities when that intuitive hit comes to you, because that's what it is. If you have an aha moment of like, oh my God, wouldn't it be brilliant if I could do X, Y, and Z for my clients? That's an intuitive hit, hun. Like, step on it, grab it, take action on it. Now, I'm not saying that it needs to be a fully formed and breathing entity of an offer straight away when you have that insight. It's okay to have that insight and realize that it's been repeating and that maybe you need to act on it and get help to find out how you can do that if you don't know what the steps are to take going further forwards. Now, outside of business, being psychic, being intuitive is really, really great for your personal growth. Now, one of the main reasons that I do what I do, so I always say that it is my mission to help 10,000 women become intuitively led. And that means that I can help you, whether you've had a tarot reading with me, whether you've had intuition courses with me, whether you work with me through BU Aligned and we're doing all of the stuff for your business and looking at energy in that way, whether you're a listener here, whether you've heard me on other people's podcasts, all of these things are things where I am helping you and giving you insight on energy and allowing you to become intuitively led. But the bigger reason behind that is definitely one of a personal growth aspect. Now, one of my personal values is growth. I am a massive believer in growth. I worked 2 jobs and studied to get my history degree. Now, I don't mean 2 jobs in a sense of I worked on a weekend and a couple of times in the evening. I mean, I had a full-time job and a second 20-hour-a-week job on top of that, whilst I studied with the Open University to get a history degree. Now, let me tell you, history is not a degree that goes lightly. There is a lot of reading that is involved. And I actually did what would be part-time. So it should have been 6 years. I did it in 4 because I like to grow. I like to study. I like to learn. I like to expand. And this is why I invest in my business and invest in coaching and memberships and groups and offers and connecting with people. And I still read and I do audiobooks and I do podcasts because I'm all about growth. For me, one of the biggest things, the soul behind my purpose and my wanting other people to be intuitively led and wanting people to realize that it's them that has the answers is because I don't ever want anyone, especially women, because it happens to women in my experience a lot more than men. I don't want anyone to have the rug pulled out under them. There have been multiple experiences in my life where I feel like the rug has been pulled out from underneath me, where I feel like if I didn't have my connection to intuition, my connection to the universe, I would have been lost and I would have crumbled. Absolutely crumbled. So as an example, when we talk about, I got fired twice in 6 months, one from a job that I'd had for 8 years and one from a job I'd had for 13 years. If I didn't trust 100% in the universe, if I didn't ask for a sign, get the sign and take action on that, I would have been lost. I would have gone deep into anxiety mode, which probably would have put me into depression. And it's just not something I ever want anyone to feel at all. So as someone who has done readings for people, tarot readings, where they have had partners like who they thought that they would be with forever, cheat on them and disrespect them. And where I've had people who have been like, they have completely lost their jobs as well, whether they've been fired, whether they've had people, take jobs over them, all of this kind of stuff has happened. And every single time I always tell my clients the same thing, that you need to go back to you. What do you want? What do you want? And that's what becoming intuitively led is about. And that's where it stems from. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. Because I want every single woman who is listening to this to know that you can trust in your intuition and the universe will guide you to what you want and that you can have whatever you want. If we all just knew that we could have anything we want, we wouldn't ever feel like the rug was pulled out from underneath us. And that's why it's so important for me. But that's why having these psychic abilities, having this intuition in your back pocket is so good for your personal growth, because it will help you step out of the way of imposter syndrome. It will help you step out of the way of self-doubt. You will have so much more clarity. You will just know what the hell you were doing and where the hell you were going, even when you don't know. Because there are times where I'm like, I don't know what's next, but I just trust in that space. This is just a gap. I know that at some point, while I keep moving forwards, the universe will tell me where to go next. because the universe doesn't hold my hand 24/7. There are big gaps sometimes where I'm like, I am not quite sure what is coming here. I know something's coming. I can feel it. I'm connected to it. I am being guided, but I might be being shown like 10% of 100% path, and I have to just trust. And that's what I want for people. And that really and truly just absolutely blows out of the water any kind of work that you can do to navigate like imposter syndrome and things like that. If you just trusted in yourself, if you just trusted in your abilities because you are guided, because the universe is supporting you, because you can tap into the universe and tap into energy and tap into abundance and miracles and all of that good stuff. If you trusted that, you wouldn't doubt yourself again. And that is the most powerful standpoint that you can come from in your personal life or your business life. And that is what I want for women. And that's why I talk about being intuitively led. And that's why I talk about being on a mission to help other women become intuitively led. That's why I do what I do. Right? So these psychic abilities do let you connect in, especially as well, like when I say about connecting into other people's energy. But if you want to expand your team, if you want to expand the type of people who are around you, so even if it's not your team, but it's like other women who are in business, your little community, being able to, one, talk about this kind of thing openly will, first of all, allow you to trust in it even more, because the more you talk about it, the more you get other people confirm things and say, yes, that's true. No, that's not true. And you can really hone in on how your energy is working, right? Because as I keep telling you over and over again, intuition has its own personal language. So if it's a personal language to you, you need validation from other people. So if you sense something, if you sense that something isn't right with your VA, as an example, and you're like, is everything okay? And they say no, you're like, right, well, my sense was right. I knew that. What did that look like? What did that feel like? What did that sound like? Let me remember that for next time. Okay. And it's the same with like this community that's around you, building a community of like-minded women. So not only these people who are also on the entrepreneurial journey, but who have a sense of energy. Now, I'm not saying that they need to believe exactly the same things as you, because I know that I don't believe a lot of the same things that many people in the spiritual community do. Like I always say, I don't have a yoga practice. I eat meat, right? You've got like these vegan hemp wearing yoga people who are 100% sure that this is the only route to go. Whereas I stand on the other side and I'm like, nope, still doing it over here, still connected, still living the dream. So it's having people around you who are like-minded, but to a sense of being able to view things from different perspectives. And these are really important things. And having those abilities and being able to communicate with these people will expand things out even more. It will allow you to trust in your intuition even more. Now, I'm not saying that you need to run around and talk about that you've got intuitive abilities. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But being able to talk about it even on a smaller scale, being able to lean into it with that community is so, so powerful as well. Okay. So I'm going to leave it there for today's episode, right? We have talked about a lot of amazing, interesting things. And I do, as always, want you to remember that intuition talks to you personally. It communicates with you personally. And you need to be able to tap into that, understand that, and really look at that so that you can start exploring and developing your psychic abilities. Okay. If you are interested in learning any more about intuition, if you're interested in working with me or any of that good stuff, check out the show notes, click on some links, see what's available that really suits you. And even just drop in the DMs, get in touch. I love speaking to you guys, especially about these podcast episodes. So get in touch. It is me in the inbox. Trust me. Right. Until next time, it has been great sharing insight with you as always, and I will speak to you next week.